Welcome back to my channel, everyone. In today's video, we are going to be making some Jhumkas. And if you don't know what those are, I'll show you in a minute. But we're also going to be testing out a new resin gadget. And you know how much we love those. And today it is the Resiners air purifier. So we're going to unbox this. We're going to see what it does and figure out if this is something that you can pass on or if it's a must-have. So lots to do. Let's get to it. Okay, so before I set this up, I do want to clarify that I am affiliated with Resiners. In fact, I have tried several of their products previously and reviewed them. However, I will share my honest opinion on here. And so if this doesn't do what it's supposed to do, you will know, and I will share that. But at the same time, I cannot decide for you what you need to invest in. So whether any of these gadgets that I share on my channel make sense for you or not, or if you should invest in them, is entirely your call. I'm just sharing my experience with them and what I think of them and if they actually work. Whether you need them, I'm not here to influence that. Let's get to it. So setting it up was fairly simple. You literally had to put in the filter and clip it back on. It came with a plug, but depending on where you are, you might need an adapter for the plug. And that's it. We're up and running. So I've literally just switched it on. It gives you a guideline of the air quality with colors, which is quite convenient. And as I've plugged it on, it is telling me this is my air quality. It's telling me the humidity and temperature and all sorts. And it's green, which is a good thing. So in order to test it, I decided to spray some isopropyl alcohol in and around, just because we use it to pop bubbles sometimes. And I want to see if this does anything, if it changes anything on the machine. Okay, I literally sprayed, 2 spritz or 3 at the most of some isopropyl alcohol, and this went red and the fan speed has increased. It instantly changed the reading, so it does work. It did detect that. It detected the smell of alcohol or the fact that the air wasn't pure or whatever that is. I don't know the science behind it.
Oh, really?
But it worked. And I didn't doubt that it would work. I just didn't realize it would be this quick. So I'm well impressed with that. Okay, I need to stop playing around with this. I need to start and focus on our project. Okay, so I'm just putting down some tape. This tape is usually for jewelry making, and it is by Jhumkas Officials. And I'm going to link everything in the description below. And I'm just cutting down a bit and placing it on my leveling board. Again, the board is also by Jhumkas. And I don't know, for some reason I decided to lay down a layer of tape and then lay down another layer on top. I honestly don't know what I was thinking, but you only need one layer. And I have these Jhumka blanks, I suppose. So basically they're earrings, but the inner circle is empty, like it does not have anything. So we are going to be using these. And I'm just sliding them down from the bottom to the tape, just because the beads keep getting in the way and I do want these to be quite flat. So nice and simple at this point. And these particular ones are pink in color, but we're going to be doing several different ones. And once I have these flat, I am going to be putting down some UV resin, again by Jhumkas Officials. And this time I'm just doing a clear layer, and we are going to cure this with our little UV lamp. And I want to add some dry flowers in these. So I've picked up these little pink pressed flowers. which I think will go really well with the beads. So that's what we're gonna do. I think that looks pretty. I'm gonna seal these in once again with some UV resin. Again, I'm just using a bit of clear, tiny bit of clear, and sealing that in before I pour in my background color, because I do want to give these flowers a background color just to get them to stand out a little bit. And I'm using black in this case, and again I'm just using my UV resin, and then I'm just going to put the black UV resin on top. So basically I have made these jhumkas upside down, so I'm hoping that the black doesn't seep through the bottom, and what you're seeing is the back of the jhumkas, if that makes sense. So once I've cured these with my UV light, I am ready to now turn these over, and unfortunately the upside down technique did not work on this, and my black resin indeed get under and over the flowers. But it's okay. It's okay, we can fix it.
We can fix this.
Not a big deal, and in fact it's a good thing because sometimes these things happen and now you can see me fix it. So I'm thinking that I'm going to cover it by placing another pair of flowers on top of the ones, and that way we can cover the black on the flowers. And in fact it kind of looks 3D because we have the petals from the bottom and then we have the flower on top, so that works out fine. And obviously this time I'm working the right side up so I can see what's happening, and placing the flower down, adding another layer of UV resin, and this time I am doming it completely and setting this to cure. Okay, the next one I want to work with are these ones, and again these are kind of like silvery oxidized silver kind of a vibe, and I love how these look. They have a smaller little cavity that we're going to pour our resin, so it's not as big as the earlier one, and in this case I will have to once again work upside down just because these wouldn't lay flat right side up. So again, I'm a little worried because I know that upside down didn't work previously, but we'll see. So I've just added a thin layer of clear resin, and I have decided to add in these chunky square mirrored glitter bits that I've just had lying around, and I think these would go nicely with the silver that we have in the earrings. And I'm just like spreading these out, and then once again I do want to have a black background so this can all shine through, so that's what I'm going to do. But let me tell you a little bit about jhumkas. So basically jhumkas are earrings, obviously that you've figured that out by now, but they're basically these Indian style earrings that, well, Indians I suppose wear when we wear Indian clothes and during festivities. And yeah, I think they look super cute, and I have quite a few of these, and this is my first time making these using resin. So yeah, I'm excited to see how all of these turn out, and if, you know, I can possibly wear some of these during the festive period that we have coming up. So I am just turning these over, and it has not worked well once again. For some reason, the black UV resin hasn't cured well enough and it's leaked on one of them. So again, I'm gonna figure out a way to fix it. And at this point I'm thinking I'm just gonna give it a wipe and put in another layer of resin to see if I can salvage these a little bit. So I've given these a little clean, and I've tried to set these right side up. That's why I've had to use a corner of the board there to do that, because that was the only way they would lay down flat. And again, I'm just going to use some clear resin and see if I can dome these and if they still look okay. But moving on to the next one. So for the next one, I have these sort of pastel green ones, and they have a silver metallic shade, and I have decided to do a little bit different on this one. So we're gonna do a transparent green background. And this time I am going to be able to do this right side up, thankfully, because obviously, as we've seen in the previous two attempts, that method of doing it wasn't working. So I'm just going to tint my UV resin light green, have these as a base, and then I'm going to put on some flowers. And on this occasion, I've decided to cut half a flower and then place them diagonally, which I think goes really nice with the shape of these. And the flower I've chosen is white and yellow, so I think that gives it a nice contrast. So yeah, and then again, same process, we're going to seal these with some UV resin. And at this point, I want to remind you to like, comment, sub, and click that notification bell so I can bring you more videos and content, testing products, sharing tutorials, techniques, whatever you want. In fact, leave me a comment and let me know what you want to see me do next. So for these yellow ones, I've decided to add some glitter, and I've got some yellow goldenish glitter that I have here, and I'm going to use that as a background. And once that is cured, I'm going to put in another set of flowers in the center and once again dome these. Now, before I show you these all complete, I do want to do another little test with the air purifier. I mean, I did have it running all the while that I was working with on this project and with UV resin, and it did not turn red, which is a good thing because, you know, Jade Diction Officials is meant to be VOC free and non-toxic. Obviously, it depends what brand of resin you're using and what you do to it. So this is future me, and I was talking to resiners about just how fun this air purifier experiments have been, and turns out I didn't quite use it the way it was intended it to be used. So we're gonna have to do one more test to truly test this machine out. So turns out this air purifier is meant to be used as a desktop air purifier, and I had it on the floor while I was working on my Jhumkas. So this time I'm gonna have it on the desk, and I'm gonna do another little test where I'm mixing up some water, which I don't think would change anything. And I'm gonna mix up some regular resin and some UV resin while I have it on the desk and see if this changes anything. So let's switch it on. I'm gonna switch it on to auto again and conduct a little experiment. So it is running, it is on auto, it's showing me the levels, it's all green at the moment, and let's see if anything changes. So starting off with some water. Obviously, I don't expect much to change here. So no changes, which is what we expected. Next, let's move on to some resin. Now, I'm not wearing a mask because I am filming this in a vlog, in a video, and it would be all muffled if I was wearing a mask, but please use your own discretion when working with resin. So here's me pouring in some part B, part A. Let's mix the way. So looking at the levels, they have gone up ever so slightly, but we're still in the green, which is good. So I am mixing this for a full 3 minutes as I would, and I'm going to speed this up, but we'll still be able to see if anything changes, and I will show you. Okay, so my resin is now mixed. As I switched from water to resin, the levels did change ever so slightly, but this was still running on auto and it's still green and it was clearing away whatever it had to. Now I'm going to move on to some UV resin and see if that changes anything. So I'm just using a little bit in this cup. Hopefully you can see it. And I am going to go ahead and tint it. And I'm going to tint it black. Here we go. So I'm looking at the levels again. Again, there is a slight rise in the level. But we're still in the green. And the fan is running on this. And now... So the levels were around 0.8 when I first started, and they've been fluctuating between 0.85, 0.9 when I've used the resin. So it does change with the resin, but we're still in the green at the moment, which again, I think varies on the type of resin that you're using. But then once I'm working with it, I can see the machine started to bring down the raise level again with its fan. So yeah, so I think it's good peace of mind that when you're working with epoxy resin, you've got this and it's doing what it should be doing. And you know, I have done some quite drastic tests with it, but make sure you have this on the desktop if you do get it, because that's not how I used it previously in the video. I do have one more test that I'm going to do with it, so let's get to that. So back to testing this air purifier. The other scenario that I thought I could test this in is when I'm using some spray paint or clear varnish in this case to coat anything. And obviously we all know that you shouldn't be inhaling spray paint, and I usually tend to do it outside, and I still recommend you do it outside and not indoors. But I am going to test this air purifier to see if it works when I use varnish on this little shell thingy that I have. So we're going to do the test right now. I am going to place the camera such that you can see if there's any changes that go on to this. At the moment it is running, it is green. Air quality seems fine. It's showing everything on the display and everything's looking fine. But we're going to see if anything changes once I start to use this gloss. So I'm going to set you guys here. And I know this setup is not ideal, but hopefully you can see the green light here. And when I tested it with alcohol, it turned red. So we're going to see if the same thing happens when I use it now. Okay, I'm not even done coating yet, but it's instantly gone red. And it's come on, and the display is showing that the air quality is gone quite poor, and the fan has come back on again, and it's starting to clear it up. Now I did set this to auto, so it automatically detects what's happening in the environment. So from 9.9, it's coming down now, and it's come down to 6, 5.75. It's clearing it out quite quickly. The fan is on full blast, and here, as you can see, is blowing. And like I said, this was on auto, so it's doing whatever it's doing on its own, which I think is a good plus point. And like I said, as I'm talking, it's bringing down the level of substance or whatever impurities, I suppose you could say, in the air. And I would imagine, soon enough, it will turn green again once it's done clearing the space. So yeah, I think that was a success. Other possible scenarios that I thought of that this purifier could be quite handy is when using 3D printers, because 3D printers, as you know, use a type of resin, even though my knowledge on them is very limited, but they use a kind of resin, and I believe they give out fumes, and I feel like if you had one of these machines, it would be quite helpful and give you peace of mind. And also, if you had a laser cutter, because once again, I don't have one, I hopefully want to get one soon enough. But these are the kind of machines you would be using indoors. And if you had one of these air purifiers indoors, I feel like it would give you that peace of mind, and it would, as the test suggests, you know, it clears out the quality of the air in the room and improves it. So yeah, those are other possible scenarios. I think it would be helpful. But also, look at this gorgeousness. Okay, back to the project. So now let me show you what these earrings are looking like. And this is what my Jhumkas are looking like. I absolutely love how these turned out. I think I'm gonna struggle to pick a favorite, but if you have one, do leave me a comment and let me know which one you like. And also, if you've tried out this air purifier by Resoners, let me know your experience with it. If you're planning to get one, if you have any questions, leave me a comment. There's this extremely famous Jhumka song in Bollywood, and I wish I could do the hook step here on the video, flashing my new Jhumkas that I made, but unfortunately I can't because YouTube and copyright. But I wanted to show you how these look worn on, and I think they look so cute. Honestly, I can't decide which one of these is my favorite, but do leave me a comment and let me know which one is your favorite. And I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye!